mustn't get too emotional like that unsavoury creature who just introduced me. Must I? I've got to keep my cool tonight. Because it's an event. It's another event. A few years ago, many moons ago now, I allowed myself to be probed by a celebrity audience in these London weekend studios. I said, anything goes, I let it all hang out. And, of course, that's now television history, isn't it? It's become a little classic. Little people made pirate videos of it. It's being used in schools, all that kind of thing. And I'm in the hot seat again tonight. London weekend, I know, tried that little experiment with a few other so-called celebrities, and frankly, I mean this in a nice way, the magic didn't work. It didn't. I'm not going to name names. I don't need to, do I, darlings? But tonight, of course, it's going to work again, because this is what's called peer group therapy, isn't it? I'm here with my peer group. Well, you're all sitting there peering at me anyway. And that's my definition of a peer group. And we've got little celebrities here tonight, of course. They mightn't be celebrities everywhere. I mean this nicely, but if this show goes out via satellite, say to Venezuela or Newfoundland or even Tasmania, frankly, those of you who deem yourself to be celebrities will mean absolutely nothing to that audience. But the chances are I'll be the only person they recognise. But there are several categories of celeb, aren't there? There are sort of what I call AM celebrities and FM celebrities. Some of their little beams don't always travel as far as they might, but that doesn't matter, does it? Because we all enjoy ourselves. Of course, there are some people here that I won't recognise, I'm sorry. I'll try to, I'll pretend I recognise you. The chances are I won't know you from Adam, though. I might, and there are some people here too who you might recognise. They could be my heavies, they could be. Because naturally, I mean, I have little security problems and the audience is bristling with a few little heavies of mine, my little minders. I don't mean this in a sort of awful way, but I hope you enjoy yourselves. If you don't, appear to enjoy yourselves, because they can take the law into their own hands. You could find yourself at the bottom of Sydney Harbour if you don't like. You could. Mind you, you probably wouldn't reach the bottom. You'd be eaten by a shark first. But a lot of people have urged me to go up market a bit. You know, I had a reputation of being a comedian for quite... Oh, look at me, being a bit of... Why didn't you tell me? I had a bit of a reputation for being a comedian, which I... Not really. People said to me, Dame Edna, why do you always have to be funny? Why can't you be like other Australian comedians? And I've thought about that. But there it is. I'm feeling so relaxed and really a lovely warm mood. I'm in one of my gorgeous moods. I don't, as I say, need to do it because I'm not really a professional. I don't need to tell you this. I was born with a precious gift in Melbourne. I'm an Australian, incidentally. I was born in Melbourne with a priceless gift. Dame Nature must have stooped over my little bassinet and gave me this gift. It was the ability, the priceless ability, to laugh at the misfortunes of others. And you know, I can tell you, that keeps me cheerful 24 hours a day. I'm going to now throw it open. I've been chatting twice as long as I should have, because this is a sharing evening. This is where we share, isn't it? And so I'm going to use a very, very wonderful expression of the 1980s now. I'm going to say, "Sock it to me, possums." Look at them all. Yes, you. It's Dame Kiri, you gorgeous thing. And can I say to you this, my little Kiwi, my precious little golden-voiced one? Can I say this to you before you ask me your little probing question? That I put you up for that little damehood. I did. My little friend, I did. The powers that be, who'll be watching this, by the way, and they'll be so grateful for my discretion, but they said to me, who else but you? And is there any other Antipodean songbird? And I said, there's little Kiri, there is. Goodness, we're proud of you, darling. What's your question?
Thank you very much. I wondered if you were ever at all interested in maybe opera or operetta, and what you think about the Merry Widow. Would it suit you?
Well, it almost would, Kiri. Fortunately, my husband is still with us. He is. Strangely enough, I'm wearing Norm's watch. I am. This is Norm's watch, and I think I must be probably the only woman in the world who wears her husband's watch while he's still alive. Isn't that wonderful? But opera, oh yes, I'm into that. Of course, the operas I love are the ones you're in, Kiri, and I'm not just saying that. Well, yes, in fact, I am. See, I can't tell a fib, can I? I have to be direct, a terrifically direct type of a woman. Too direct sometimes, you know. I'm going to come out with a few things tonight that might even give offence, and I'm sorry if I do. I mean it. I'll mean it nice. If I insult you, I'll do it nicely, I promise you. And you'll in a way, you'll forgive me afterwards. Kiri, I love the opera, and there are parts in the theatre, too, that I'd like to do. I am, in a way, an actress. I've been accepted by the theatre. But, I don't know, I'm basically, I think, an amateur. I'm just a person, I'm a sort of phenomenon, I suppose you'd say. Funny me that I can actually speak of myself in that objective way. That constantly astonishes me. Yes. Oh, hello, Clive. How are you? One of my fellow Australians, a little protege of mine, too, if I may say so.
Thanks very much, Aunt Edna. I wonder if I could ask an intimate question about you and your husband, Norm. We know that you and he have always been... deeply in love, and that he's been a solid pillar of fidelity to you and you to him over the years and indeed the decades. But I wonder if...
I didn't know I had a guest artist on the show.
I'm just getting to the peroration now, Aunt Edna. But I wonder if your eyes ever strayed. I wonder if you've ever been attracted to other men than Norm, and I wonder what attracts you in other men. What sort of men are you attracted to?
I am attracted to other men, Clive. You've asked me a direct question, and I'm answering you very, very directly on the media in front of all these people. Yes. I'm a woman, I have drives, and I have juices, as I've mentioned before. And my husband has not been a well person for many, many years. Oh, most amusing. Let me know when your loved ones are in intensive care. I'll come along and have a good old chuckle at you. But I did. I rather like shortish men. I do, Clive. I do. I mean, in a way, you can't get enough of them, can you? I like men I can look down on, like little Roman Polanski. You did an interview with him. He's a little precious little thing, isn't he, in his spooky little way? And I like Lord Snowdon. He's gorgeous, too. He's of diminished stature. And of course, little Charles Aznavour could dance in the old-fashioned way with me anytime he liked. I love little Charles. Sometimes dream about him, as a matter of fact. But Norm, you know, I have to tell you, I felt a little while ago that I hadn't made enough sacrifices somehow because I've been given so much. What have I given? I often think, that's why I'm here, for heaven's sake. But I thought, what have I given for the conservation of energy, for example? I thought, I've given nothing. I've done nothing to conserve energy. And then it hit me. I thought, there's one thing I can do. I can have Norm taken off his life support system. It was a big decision. It was a big decision, but I did it. I did it gladly. I did it, in a way, gratefully. The spooky thing that happened after that was that he came good. Now, he made a miracle recovery. He'd been using that as a crutch, if you don't mind me using that word. He did, and he's now getting around the Hossie on a frame, and there is talk of him coming home. Now, this is a big shock. It's a big adjustment that I have to make. Because he's asked for his clothes, and of course I gave them to the Salvation Army years ago. His golf clubs have been all my daughter Nora's turned them into a mandala. She's melted them into She's made contemporary sculpture of them. His Masonic trowel, I wouldn't know where it was. It's going to lead to so many... He wants me to be, his chattel again. He wants to manage me. He wants to get rid of Barry Humphries as my manager. There's another problem. Of course, Norm has wanted to handle me for years, Clive, but I never thought he was well enough, and I don't think he is now. But there it is. Isn't life funny? These little changes, that happen to you just when you've practically written someone off. Yes, darling, you. At the back, in the black, first of all.
Well, you've been talking about Norm, Dame Edna, and I have been worried quite a lot about him. It does seem to me that you have perhaps been just a little indulging yourself, superstarring around the world while he was there sort of prostrate with his prostate down under. I mean, don't you think you should have been by his side?
Well, I was there as often as I could. Why do you think I haven't been on the media much lately? You've hardly ever seen me. I've been there in my tracksuit, sitting there looking at my watch. Darling, there's a limit to what you can do. I've tried to amuse him, but you can't really over-entertain an institutionalised loved one. I must tell you what we gave Norm for Christmas. I had his bedside drip re-chromed. The nurses, they put holly all the way up the tube. And they filled it with brandy butter, too. Apparently that doesn't do them any harm. Also tell you, because there would be people, even celebrities, with institutionalised loved ones. And what do you do? What jokes do you play on them on April Fool's Day? And it is a problem, isn't it? Because you want to amuse them and you don't want to necessarily finish them off. So I'll tell you what joke we played on Norm, Claire. Am I right? Claire, it's a lovely trick, and you could play it on your loved ones. We pretended to him. We pretended to him that he was going to be discharged from the hospital. The sister packed his suitcase in his private room so he could watch her doing it in the mirror above his page-turning machine. They got him into the dressing gown, the one we thought he'd never wear, Kiri. They say apparently they could put the pins back in it. Anyway, they got him down. Claire, they got him down to the front steps of the Hossie about 3/4 of an hour later. And there was the ambulance ticking over, and just as Norm practically fell into the ambulance, it whizzed off down. And all the doctors and nurses leaned out the hospital windows and said, April Fool! And I only wish that Norm could have laughed at that as well. But I'm accountable. That's the new word, isn't it? Arthur, hello, darling. And I love your book, Arthur Marshall. I do. There's a laugh at every line, darling. You're good news. There are a lot of people who are good news, and you're definitely very high on my list of good news people, Arthur Marshall. I'm sure there's something bubbling up in your mind that you want to ask me.
Dear, I wanted to ask, your mastery of words is so extraordinary, and we all admire it so greatly. Are you yourself a great bookworm?
I am, Arthur, I do. Well, even as a youngster, when I was a very young girl and I first started to grow hair I could sit on, I was Please. Celebrity audience, please. I was always under the bedclothes with a torch, all right? I was, and one day our family doctor suggested I give that up and take up reading, and I've never looked back or up. I haven't. I've got my nose into something pretty interesting most of the time. Little Beryl Bainbridge's latest is pretty good too. I adore that. But all kinds of literature I like. And your little magazine, Private Eye, which has been pretty kind to me, Richard, if I may say so. I've never had occasion to sue you. I must be one of the few. But there it is. I don't think you'd take me on. I don't think even Richard would take me on, because I'd be a formidable foe, wouldn't I, darling? But keep up the good work with those little fingers. Have they commissioned a sequel yet, Arthur? Not yet. No, but you could name your figure now, couldn't you? And yet all those years of obscurity. There you are, sitting next to the adorable Margaret, Duchess of Argyll. Hello, Margaret. How are you, darling? Lovely to see you. Looking gorgeous, of course. I love the little frock too. It's beautiful. It's lovely. You're very fortunate the woman who lent it to you was your size, darling. Next, please. Yes, darling. You gorgeous creature, aren't you?
Your beauty is a secret.
Well, I mean, you're looking at it, darling, aren't you? You are. I hope it's not too much of a secret. I'm very, very lucky with my looks. I'm not a classic beauty. I'm not. I'm sorry, but I'm not. Many have said so, but I'm not. I do pamper myself, though. I use some of our precious marsupials, our Australian marsupials, some of their little emanations and some of their lovely secretions. It's very difficult, I'm afraid, to get wombat milk at Fortnum and Mason. It is. But whenever I can, I rub it into my little nooks and crannies and crevices. But I'm lucky. I'm lucky with my skin. I've got beautiful skin. You can feel it after the show if you want to. And viewers too. A pity you won't be able to touch me. A lot of people do want to. And I should say now, I know this is an answer to a question, but I'm perhaps anticipating it. I am not a healer. I'm not. I haven't those powers. I've got powers. I don't think you'd be here, would you? Let's face it. You wouldn't be here drinking in my words if I didn't have spooky old powers, would you? But I can't heal. I cannot heal. Though, I must say after the last show I did here, they found a battered crutch under one of the seats. The cleaners did. They did. So someone must have walked home laughing, don't you think? It wouldn't surprise me in the least if there weren't a few old crutches going begging here tonight. I'm almost certain there are. Look at Edna Healy laughing at me. Hello, darling Edna. My little namesake. You know, you've done such a lot too, not just for your marvellous little husband there. But you've done a lot in your own right for people and things, and yet I suppose if the honours list came along, would you accept a damehood, do you think, darling? Would you? Here's me asking you a question. You'd be Dame Edna II, wouldn't you? Lovely. And Dennis, look, please, before I forget it, I've got this camera. I can't get the film out of this, Dennis. You think? The camera watching this. You're a bit of a photography buff. Could you get it out afterwards in a dark room?
You'll join me in the dark room.
I will, of course, if you don't mind,
make
Edna.
Wonderful music together. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, certainly. Is it without notice?
It is, actually. I mean, you've shown such delicacy, sensitivity, and refinement this evening. I understand your loyalty to Norm, but have you never thought of making music with Sir Leslie Patterson?
To think about that, don't you? No, I haven't, Dennis. Of course not. What a facetious thing to say.